Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested, requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, feel free to send in. I will get to as soon as I possibly can. And Bronson wanted me to take another look, a re-review on Bowfinger, a 1999 film. And I've always enjoyed this one. This is a time when Eddie Murphy's career where I wasn't huge on his choices around this time, other than maybe Metro. Metro I really enjoyed. I thought it was underrated. But I'm not a Nutty Professor fan. I think soon after this would be Adventures of Pluto Nash. What was the one I was thinking of? Oh, God. Holy Man. As I call it, holy shit. But this, I'm like, okay, this is something that felt a bit more refreshing. You got Frank Oz, very capable director. He did The Dark Crystal. He did What About Bob? That's a fun one with Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. And it's written by Steve Martin. And Steve Martin, who also stars in the film with Eddie Murphy. And I've always been a Steve Martin fan. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a favorite of mine. I even like LA Story. He's fun in Little Shop of Horrors. The dentist, oh the dentist. Even films I'm not big on. I mean, I'm not a big bringing down the house fan. But Steve Martin, it's nice to see him in there. It's always a welcome presence to see. Father of the Bride, to be honest, I haven't seen that in a long time. Nor the sequel. But he's one of those guys that, The Jerk, just a lot of stuff he's done that I'm a fan of. And it's cool to see these two work together. Two alumni from different parts of, Steve Martin would appear from time to time on Saturday Night Live. Those two crazy guys. His appearances were usually memorable in SNL. And of course, Eddie Murphy, that's even more so. And not only that, but you got Heather Graham on the cast, Colin Card, you got Robert Downey Jr., you got Terrence Stamp, you got Jamie Kennedy. So you're a pretty stacked cast in this. And I always thought the plot of this was kind of funny, kind of interesting, kind of a unique idea. Steve Martin playing this guy who, trying to be a producer, wants to make a film. It's now or never, it's time to make a movie. He has his group of people he's known for a while that has listened to this all before, but finally they don't make a film. There's the actress, there's the camera operator played by Jamie Kennedy, there's the guy who's an accountant who wrote a script, and it's a script called Chubby Rain about aliens, and Steve Martin's like, this is a great script, and at the end when they say, gotcha suckers, it just works. They also have, I guess, hell of a FedEx commercial, because a FedEx truck comes by and they go, one day it's going to stop here and deliver some to us, and we'll be the important people. I didn't know that's what all FedEx meant, but apparently so. So, FedEx, and you want a commercial with FedEx, here you go. But the way it works, at least it comes off kind of funny, and they do follow through with that at the very end of the film. Robert Downey Jr., he's in the movie because he's a guy that works at a studio. He appears 2 or 3 times, and pretty much Steve Martin, he like rips out his phone to pretend to be like a cell phone, and oh yeah, I'm with blah 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 blah, and then talk about the new action star Kit Ramsey, played by Eddie Murphy, and oh, I'll take the script to this and that, and is able to get the script to Robert Downey Jr. and he just flips through like a little bit of the first, a little bit at the last, and goes, "You give me this and Kit Ramsey, I'll greenlight it. Let's take a chance." So Steve Martin says, "Yay," but then wondering, well, how the hell we don't get Kit Ramsey? Eddie Murphy, he's a lot of fun as Kit Ramsey, where he's this paranoid guy who thinks everything's out to get him, or everything's racist, or so he's a Hollywood actor today. And I don't know, I thought that the script was actually rather funny. It had some entertaining lines. For example, he's talking with his agent. He's like, "Well, how come I need my Hasta La Vista, baby?" Or he's like, "Arnold, I need my Hasta La Vista." "You do have one. See, your name is Cliff, and you throw this guy off a cliff." It's like, "That's too cerebral, okay? You're making a movie, not a film." In the script, see, the the T appears this many times. And you know what? You just divide that by 3. That means Tay appears in the strip 400 times. But it's not Shakespeare. What do you say? Shakespeare? Shake a spear. Spear chucker. You're calling me a spear chucker. Eddie Murphy, just like how, very energetic. He's just very energetic and just vibrant energy as Kit Ramsey. And part of me wants to see the films this guy has done as an action star. Well, hell, I could do that and watch Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. So there you go. But they also make a little bit of fun of Scientology. They don't call it Scientology. It's called Mindhead. But it's meant to be Scientology. I mean, the fact that he's paranoid about aliens and then Scientology about aliens. Terrence Stamp, who was Zod, General Zod in the original Superman 2 and 1, because he had a big part in that. He's the head of it. Always great to see Terrence Stamp in there. Such a great actor. Just a great presence and voice. Now, I mentioned the idea of the film. What they're going to do, Steve Martin and Jamie Kennedy, only they know about it. They are going to secretly film Kit Ramsey. They're going to tell the others, the crew, so the actors. Heather Graham is this girl that got off the bus, and they hold auditions. They got her to be in the film. Well, the film within the film. They got some crew from Mexico, from the border. They don't know he's in character, he's method, so you can't do this and this. So they film him, and they secretly film a movie. And I like that idea. What if you filmed a movie, but the star doesn't know he's the star of this movie? So he thinks this weird stuff's happening where people just coming up and talk about aliens, and or one of the scenes is a parking garage where he keeps hearing footsteps. Steve Martin put his dog in heels, and those are the footsteps. So he thinks someone's following him, but we know, and Steve Martin and his crew know, it's just a dog following him. And then we'll add this and this later. Talk about guerrilla filmmaking. And they're going to film it for $2,000. And I like Jamie Teddy's, "But movies cost millions and millions of dollars." And Steve Martin's like, "Yeah, but that's before net worth and net profits and all this and that and that and this. And all films cost $2,000. Before going on, nice to see Jamie Kennedy in this. Of course, this is after Scream. Actually, this came out, well, a little bit before Scream 3, because Scream 3 was, what, 2000, give or take? But, you know, a little bit after, you would have Malibu's Most Wanted, the Jamie Kennedy Experiment, so this was a nice stepping stone for him. I always like Jamie Kennedy. Nice to see him in there. Again, I like Jamie Kennedy Experiment. They only had 3 seasons, sadly. That's a fun show. I wish that would get a Blu-ray. I had the DVD, but I think some of them are stuffed up. That'd be nice to get a Blu-ray set of that. Blu-ray of the show. But He doesn't have a whole lot of moments to be funny in this, sadly. I think that's a shame. He's mostly there to play kind of the stray foil to Steve Martin in bits here and there. But yeah, he doesn't really get to use much of his comedy chops, which is too bad. But yeah, Steve Martin, he's very entertaining as a guy who's just gun ho about filmmaking, and you kind of appreciate his enthusiasm and wanting to get this done. Eddie Murphy, just how more scared and paranoid he gets. We know it's an actor, but he thinks it's some weird random saying alien love. He's like, alien love? What do you say, alien love? But another nice, kind of heartwarming part is the other character Eddie Murphy plays, which they hold these auditions. They see this guy named Jiff. And I like the way Eddie Murphy plays this role. This to me is a much better version than what he tried to do later in Norbit, where he's like the DT guy who gets picked on and stuff. Because this one, I thought, yeah, there's stuff to laugh about, but there's nice heartwarming moments too, and you really see the guy. He's a good guy, and you later find out that he is Tia Ramsey's brother. It's like, man, usually when people know I'm his brother, they just want to talk about him. But you guys, yeah, I like you. Like when I get the coffee, I'm the one who gets the coffee. I'm the one who did it. So you could tell he's a guy who lived in his brother's shadow for so long. This is finally a moment for him to be his own guy. And the bits that we see Jiff, I liked the way Eddie Murphy plays it. And just with the braces and the squint. Even with glasses, I swear he squints. Even with glasses on. And like he's supposed to do this love scene with Heather Graham. And just the way he's like, you're gonna be a star. He just plays it very well. Like goofy but innocent. Even the bit where they want him to be a stand-in for Kit, because Kit at one point, that Eddie Murphy character disappears. We know that it's because he's at Terrence Stamp's place to calm down. So they have Jiff. He has to go across his bridge in traffic, and just how scared he is, and how to show him a bit of it, and comes off funnier than I'm making it sound like. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to get coffee and stuff. Okay. I bet you get coffee later. Okay. All right. Okay. Everything's fine. Just gotta do the scene one more time. Instead, you see, Heavenly God, Heavenly God. And then when the other Eddie, Kid Ramsey, gets out, immediately just thrusts into more crazy situations, whether it be stopped by a cop as the writer, who's now actor for the film, hit this effect where stuff's oozing out of him, and just Eddie and his bodyguard's reactions just look very genuine, which makes it funnier. I'll say really one of the, I guess the two things I think of where I wish things were different. One, as dumb as it sounds, I didn't really care about Heather Graham's character. I just didn't find her that interesting. Okay, she's the woman who you think is innocent, but she wants to sleep with everybody in terms for power. I'm going to sleep with this guy because it's going to get me to this. Oh, wait, the screenwriter. If I sleep with the screenwriter, I'm going to get more parts. Then I'm going to sleep with Steve Martin. Then she's going to try to get with Jiff. I get it. But I never thought any scene was funny because of her. Like the bad acting she does, where she's doing all this, is like whatever. I just even the bad trouble between her and Eddie, it's Eddie's reaction that I find funny, not Heather Graham. And I don't hate Heather Graham. I don't mind her as an actress. It's just in this film, I get why she's in it, but at the same time, she was the least interesting part for me. Even this bit where you sleep with Jiff, yes, I didn't think about it that way. What makes it funny is Steve Martin, the way he says it, how nonchalant, and then how quickly he changes his mind. But the stuff with Heather Graham, I don't even know what really. I just kind of indifferent to her. She's a means to the end. I get it. It just, she just wasn't really that interesting to me. Just like I said, as a character, she's just very, in a way, one-dimensional. And I just scenes with her were funny, but not because of her. And then other scenes, like whatever. The second thing is, I wish we saw a lot more of the Jiff character that Eddie Murphy played, because he was such an endearing character. Part of me wanted to see them try to do the whole rest of the movie with Jiff, and like how he would react to certain scenes, and how Steve Martin would try to direct him. So like Steve worked as a director and Jiff worked as an actor, and they're both not great at their jobs, but them trying to get through this and that. Like the bridge scene, that was a funny bit. Or the love scene, the way Eddie as Jiff reacts to that. I wanted to see a lot more of that. I want to see a lot more of those type of sequences. And I did, just because Jiff was so endearing. And it was just great to see Steve Martin and Eddie work together. So I would like to have seen even more of that. But instead, well, spoilers. They get to where they need to go, and Eddie's supposed to say the one last big line, but Terrence Stampin's group find them. They get the footage. They go, you don't have our permission, but the characters have shot B-roll, and they find that Ted Ramsey had put a sack on and showed his crotch to the LA Laker girls, which is a thing that Terrence Stamp warned him about earlier in the film. Don't do that. But he did do that. And now they're able to get permission. And they're able to get permission and release their film. Like I can only imagine would have been a huge fucking... I would have thought it would be a box office flop, because they would see like bad word of mouth, because I assume they made a pretty fucking bad movie. It would have been a flop, which is probably somewhat what happened, because the only message they get from FedEx is to direct a film in Taiwan with Jiff, which I thought was funny and actually made more sense. If it was like, oh wow, they're getting 8 pictures, I'm like, okay, what? Here, I'm like, okay, that could buy. That could buy with, like back to the day, let's do a film with Don Swayze, Patrick Swayze's brother, or Aaron Norris stars in. So it actually fits with this. And it would be, if not here is Taiwan, it'd be in, where would it be? I can't remember. What was that one documentary about films made in... See, now I'm blanking on it. Sirio Santiago... Was it Sirio Santiago? Yeah, the Philippines. So I had to remember that director. Like Ciro Santiago would do some of those films in the Philippines. Yeah, it'd be in the Philippines back in the day. And part of me wanted to see the film that we see a snippet of Purse Snatching Ninjas or whatever it was called, or Fake Purse Ninjas or something like that. And Jiff is trying to fight. He's just doing this, and people just flying around. Which I think some of the movie marketing labeled on that. And like I said, I kind of wish it was a bit more, like I said, of Steve and Jiff like making the film and kind of the love of the weirdness of filmmaking. But there's a bit of that. There's still a bit of that in this unique way. But yeah, this is a fun film. It is. It's very entertaining. It's a good cast. Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin worked very well together. Nice to see people like Jamie Kennedy and Robert Downey Jr. didn't have a whole lot to do, but he's in a couple scenes. Nice to see him in there. Overall, it's still a fun film. Still got a lot of laughs out of me. Still got some chuckles out of me. Yeah, I may not be big on Heather Graham, but she served her purpose for what she needed to do. The ending was hilarious. Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy being in the film together as their characters, and part of me wanted to see after that what this whole bit actually was going to be with these two guys working together. And hey, these characters succeeded in their dream, as crazy as it was. So as I wanted to see more of these two, that and the Jiff character together. But other than that, and sadly, this film didn't do well. It cost around 50 some million. It only made 66 million in the U.S. It did not make that much more overseas. So this film was a flop. This film lost money, which is a shame. But what can you do? And that is a shame, because I'm like, okay, like Norbit made more money than this? Why is it that Norbit made more money than this movie? Like, you did Norbit, you looked at this movie, for me this is clearly the better film. Even if you just base it on trailers, let alone the finished product. But yet, Norbit made more money than this. I don't know why. I don't know why. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.